What scares you more? The terrible reality of what other people are, of who they are in real life, or the miserable mystery of who you might really be? Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in three separate playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist. Getting very close to 600 videos in the poetry discussion playlist. Number two will be the Horror Fest 2024 playlist, where we talk literature of the horror genre for 31 days in celebration of October 2024. And the third playlist will be the horror playlist here on the channel. The poem in question today is known as Haunted by Siegfried Sassoon, and it reads as such. Evening was in the wood, luring with storm. A time of drought had sucked the weedy pool and baked the channels. Birds had done with song. Thirst was a dream of fountains in the moon, or willow music blown across the water leisurely, sliding on by weir and mill. Uneasy was the man who wondered, brooding, his face a little whiter than the dusk. A drone of sultry wings flickered in his head. The end of sunset burning through the boughs died in a smear of red, exhausted hours. Cumbered and ugly sorrows hemmed him in. He thought somewhere there's thunder as he strove to shake off dread. He dared not look behind him, but stood, the sweat of horror on his face. He blundered down a path trampling on thistles in sudden race to leave the ghostly trees, and soon I'll be in open fields, he thought, and half remembered starlight on the meadows, scent of mown grass, and voices of tired men fading along the field paths, home and sleep, and cool swept upland spaces whispering leaves, and far off the long churring nightjar's note. But something in the wood, trying to daunt him, led him confused in circles through the thicket. He was forgetting his old wretched folly, and freedom was his need. His throat was choking, barbed brambles gripped and clawed him round his legs, and he floundered over snags and hidden stumps, mumbling, I will get out, I must get out, butting and thrusting up the baffling gloom. Pausing to listen in a space twixt thorns, he peered around with peering frantic eyes. An evil creature in the twilight looping flapped blindly in his face. Beating it off, he screeched in terror, and straightway something clambered heavily from an oak and dropped, bent double to shamble at him, zigzag, squat and bestial. Headlong he charges down the wood and falls with roaring brain, agony, the snapped spark and blots of green and purple in his eyes, then the slow fingers groping on his neck, and at his heart the strangling clasp of death. Sassoon is one of my favorite poets. Even if I haven't read everything by him, everything that I have read from him is very well written and is deeper than you would maybe admit on first glance. But where I think we need to start the conversation for this poem is right here. The last word, death. How literally are we to take this death? Are we to believe that this squat and bestial thing which had chased our protagonist here, are we to believe that that is indeed something which killed him outright? Or are we to take this death as metaphorical? Are we to take this death as symbolic of change? I think we'll go with that for this poetry discussion. So, what is it that we are looking at the death of? Because it can be a death that leads to change. It could be the death of a part of someone's personality. Well, if we're going to look at something that would be a positive change, perhaps, because, hey, let's just say it's a positive change. Oftentimes in literature, the thing which dies to allow a person to grow is pride. Someone's pride has died and they grow. That pride could be all worked up and in a tizzy because of someone else or because of the self. Now, we have some clues up here about our protagonist. He is in the woods brooding. What does brooding mean? He has entered the woods brooding. He has entered the woods angry. Brooding is angry. It's a type of anger. It's an action of anger. Anger looking to solve a problem in one's life. That's what brooding really is. I have this problem. This problem makes me angry. I am searching for solution. Voila, I'm brooding. So we have someone who is brooding and angry and becomes scared. Becomes so scared that it leads to a type of death. I will suggest that our speaker here is not scared of someone else. Here's what I will suggest. Our speaker here goes into the woods, is brooding and heads into the woods and gets lost. And they are the woods that claim him. It's the woods that produce this squat and bestial phantom at the end that ends up choking our protagonist, correct? Well, the woods in literature are often used to represent the subconscious. So really what we have here is an individual who has become angry in or about his own life, has gone brooding to find solutions. In order to find those solutions, what our protagonist has done is retrace into his own subconscious. Seems logical. You're angry, you're delving into the self in order to solve some problem that you have. You're angry and you are searching within your own subconscious to try to solve that problem. You're angry and brooding and searching the soul and trying to escape. Once you've gotten deep enough inside that soul, once our protagonist has gotten sufficiently within his own mind, he is searching desperately for escape. He is scared, but not of someone else. He is scared of what it is that he finds inside himself. And attempting to leave, he is dragged right back in. In fact, the poem tells us that he dies. It tells us that our main character here doesn't just die, but dies with his heart, the strangling clasp of death. Might it be that our protagonist has searched within himself, been afraid at the darkness that he finds, and upon trying to escape realizes that darkness is not just all me, baby. All of me is that darkness. His heart was closed. His heart had failed. That ticking that identifies your life. You are still alive because that ticker is going. Nope, gone. The organ with which we have so long identified love and compassion. Gone. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel. Dropping multiple videos a week, there's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.